Clan Brujah is the subject of the Chinese Room's Dev Diary number 9. More specifically, their philosophy in adapting this clan from the tabletop to a video game. At this channel, our exposure to the Brujah is the Troika game and some of the online web series, such as New York by Night. If you are super into the World of Darkness lore, it would be fascinating to hear your thoughts. What pieces do they take and get right, and what do they omit or get wrong? That said, let's jump into what they have to say. Right off the top, they tell us that the Brujah have supernatural strength, speed, and charisma. The charisma part, that might be a little sketchy. From Bloodlines 1, you had Nines, Jack, Skelter, Damsel, Jeanette, and Isaac. Jack and Isaac, they probably have more charisma than the others. And about anybody has more charisma than Damsel. The Chinese Room tells us that the Brujah will often use these qualities for intimidation and threats. Does this mean we will get threaten or intimidate options in conversations? They did not say, and unfortunately the dialogue they've shown so far doesn't feature any skill checks. In this article, they tell us that the Brujah are adapted from the tabletop version, so what cool characteristics do they take from that game? As pointed out by Kara Mauermar, the brand editor for World of Darkness and designer of 5th edition, the Brujah crave and are addicted to conflict, any conflict. The most fascinating thing mentioned, however, is the Brujah are not necessarily fighting on principled grounds. He explicitly points out that if the Brujah were to win their conflict, they would often switch sides and then fight for the other side. Now that's kind of a gnarly twist given the way Anarchs were portrayed in Bloodlines 1. Can anyone see Nines or Damsel suddenly fighting the Camarilla fight? Still, if that's the way they're portrayed, then that's the way we have to take them. And it does put a different perspective on their determination and the self-righteous nature of their conflict. I wonder if that will have anything in the game that we can play off of, either as a Brujah or someone dealing with the Brujah. To illustrate the varied Brujah, Cherish Goldstraw, a writer on the team, introduces us to Simeon Laddock, aka Silky. We're told he looks like the kind who would bend you into a pretzel instead of bending your ear, but apparently he's quite sophisticated. He may even be a Renaissance man's man. He would seem to fit the Isaac and Jeanette style of Brujah from the original game. It's doubtful either of those were hanging out with the Anarchs, and I don't remember seeing a biker jacket near either of those characters. Silky does keep up one of those traditions, though. He runs a bar, just like those Anarchs in LA with Nines and Jeanette. And keeping in mind that the Camarilla runs Seattle, the Brujah can't necessarily have their own little Anarch clubhouse as they did in LA. As Ian Thomas, narrative director, points out, the Brujah must still coexist within Seattle's kindred society, namely the Camarilla. And it seems Silky is our example of this coexistence. Next up, we have a piece from Max Bottomley, senior gameplay designer, who tells us that one of their main focuses was on the type of player who would pick Brujah. The type of player who just wants to get in and make stuff happen, generally with their fists. Not always my gameplay choice, but I can certainly get behind the let's give this player the style of game they want to play. If you hate stealth but you're forced into it, you're not going to be enjoying yourself. So the Brujah are that anti-stealth character. But he points out that it's not all just fists flying. He tells us that we will have overwhelming odds much of the time, and that developing a rhythm and flow to your fights will be key to winning. If you love smashing buttons, frenetic gameplay with tactics, this sounds like it might be right up your alley. Following the lowdown on fighting, senior concept artist Jordan Grimmer shared his thoughts on the appearance of the Brujah. And we'd never guessed the main influences were punks, bikers, and metalheads. And surprise, surprise, they hang out in dive bars with smashed up furniture and graffiti. At least they got that part from Bloodlines 1. Just below his blurb, they give us 4 images of concept art. Not a fan. Number 2 might be okay, because who doesn't like a long coat? And let's face it, in Bloodlines 1, the Ventru had the best final outfit. Finally, the article tells us they'll tell us more at some point in time. Apparently, every 4 weeks, we're supposed to get a new dev diary. So let's stay tuned for that. Share your thoughts and comments below, and remember, if you like this content, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.